Hey guys, it's your girl B, and this is LezFlix. To Wong Foo, thanks for everything, Julie Newmar. So I was so excited to do this video. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. It stars three of my favorite actors, John Leguizamo, Wesley Snipes, and Patrick Swayze, and they're all drag queens and all fabulous. It starts off actually, they're in the New York City club scene and they're trying to win Drag Queen of the Year. So Noxema Jackson, Jesse's daughter, that's Wesley Snipes, and Miss Vita Boheme of the Manhattan Bohemes, that's Patrick Swayze, enter the contest and they both win. So it's a tie. Tie, what's she mean tie? I don't know. Anyway, they tie and they end up going up the stairs and find a little Latin boy in drag. That's John Leguizamo. His name is Chichi Rodriguez. So they win the Drag Queen of the Year, and they end up getting tickets to go to Hollywood, California, where they can compete in the Drag Queen of America. And now it gets really good. They're going to take along the little Latin boy in drag because, of course, the little Latin boy in drag is crying, and we don't know why the little Latin boy in drag is crying, but once we ask him, we realize that he thinks they're just so pretty, and he wants to be just like them. So he is deemed to be a little boy in a dress. So until he becomes a full-fledged queen. So in order to get to LA, they turn in their plane tickets to Mr. John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt. They're going to find Miss Julie Newmar because obviously she is the only Catwoman and she's so statuesque. So they trade in their tickets to John Jacob Jingleheimer Schmidt and they choose to drive. They drive to Hollywood, California. Along their trip, they end up meeting Sheriff Dullard. They get pulled over and he tries to get kind of fresh with Miss Vita. He sticks his hand up her dress and I think her line is, "Get your hand off my dick, buddy." Fantastic. So Sheriff Dullard is not completely unconscious once Vita gives it to him. He gets knocked out. He ends up making a hilarious drawing of a man in a dress and goes around telling people to look for him in these small towns. So they get to the town of Snyderville, which is a really tiny town. And there's Carol Ann and her husband Virgil, who is an abusive car repairman. Their car breaks down. They end up having to go to this town. Bobby Ray comes and gets them. Now Bobby Ray is like the love interest for Chi-Chi, so she is in love, and he's in love as well. Although I don't think that he even remotely knows what a drag queen is or knows what's under that dress. So they kind of start falling for each other. Vita starts having a very close relationship with Carol Ann, and she realizes all this cooking, all this sadness, and all this isolation is from her husband, Virgil, who is constantly abusing her and talking down to her. For Vita, that's very hard because Vita came from a very wealthy family that didn't accept her when she became a queen. They didn't want her in their life. I think that the overall friendship that's built there is a really beautiful part of the movie that a lot of people kind of miss. It really shows that no matter what you are, no matter who you are, no matter what you look like, you can come from completely different backgrounds and really find a lot of commonality and common ground. So then you have the town Roughnecks, and these are like 5 or 6 guys that probably don't bathe, probably smoke all the time, and just constantly talk shit. These Roughnecks are trying to get on these women and kind of like cooing and hollering and catcalling after all the ladies. Noxema is not having it. That's a part of the movie that I'll let you watch yourself. That's actually one of the best parts ever. So there's the like cutest little boy with a lisp. Well, I guess he's not little, he's a teenager. He owns their only clothing store there, and it's like a 60s clothing store. They all dress up and have this little fashion show for all the women in town. They go to the beauty salon, they make them look fabulous. They show these women what they're really made of. I think that that's actually pretty relatable. When I had a couple of really good guy friends that did drag, they were always very much into helping me with my makeup, helping me with my clothes, and they were fabulous at it, better than I could ever do for myself. So they find this town and they kind of inhabit it and they just turn it upside down. But the people don't question their gender queer identities. They don't have any idea. They more look at their status like, oh my gosh, they're from New York City. Following this like fashion show or whatever you want to call it, the townspeople have this thing called the Strawberry Social. And that's when everybody gets together, they bring strawberry pies, they come to the town, they eat them pies, and then they go home. They wanted to do kind of a theme and make it exciting. So their theme is red and wild. They really brought the town together. This is kind of where the end of the movie comes. The possibly dead Sheriff Dullard comes back and tries to find these men in dresses. So anyway, they have their Strawberry Social, but in the middle of it, Sheriff Dullard comes, and he's trying to take the women away, obviously. At the end, it's like all the townspeople stick up for these women. they've known now what they are. The end is probably my favorite because as they're leaving, Vita and Carol Ann have this kind of exchange where she's like basically saying, you know what I am, you know, are you okay with that? And Carol Ann was just like, I'm just lucky because I have a really beautiful woman friend with a big Adam's apple. So that's all for me today. Please stay tuned tomorrow. Kim has another freaking awesome video coming out. And remember to also follow us on Tumblr. And if you have any questions or you need any advice, please, the girls and I are always excited to answer and to get your questions and to connect with people. So that's all for me today. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye.